Okay, so my vlogs are back. I'm experimenting with doing this live format just to kind of see what's going on. I'm not expecting anyone to be watching this, but anyway, the vlogs are back, and it's because I'm going back to university. I'm going to be starting in like 2 days, and uh, the reason why I stopped doing the vlogs, I'll probably get into another time. But yeah, like I say, I'll mention that another time. But anyway, Edinburgh was good for anyone bothered. And one of the reasons why the vlogs are back is because I'm going to be focusing on online content as part of my university MA. And I'm going to be focusing on that, but also using these vlogs to kind of have a little documentation of the process of what I'm doing, and then I can look back and kind of see what I was kind of up to and thinking about day to day. So hopefully the vlogs will be back. Again, much like before, they're not going to be very long. When I'm doing gigs, I'm probably going to, do some like gig stuff, do some fun stuff at gigs, which some people seem to enjoy. I'll be honest, I kind of do these for me. If anyone else enjoys them, then mint. Anyway, so I started doing this because I was reading some online. I was reading some of the recommended materials for the MA that I'm doing, and it's looking at contemporary performance, and a lot of it was to do with non-professional theatre performers, non-professionals, i.e., people who are not trained actors within performance. And I've always kind of felt like stand-up is quite a stripped down art form, so I'm hoping that what I'm doing already, and I was certainly noticing a lot of parallels between like comedy, or certainly how I kind of perceive comedy, is already kind of linked into some of these ideas. And I was so I've written down some stuff, and again, I'm probably going to be doing like a bit of reading for some of these vlogs, particularly these kind of more university based ones. And this was what I'd just written down based on, if you're interested. The articles were Meg Mumford and Ulrich Gard staging real people on the arts and effects of non-professional theatre performers. And the other one was Tracy Crossley, active experiencing in post-dramatic performance, effective memory and quarantine theatre's wallflower. And I started reading that Tracy Crossley one like the second time, and I was like, I'm sure I've read this, so I don't know how well it's gone in. Anyway, so yeah, I feel like so they discussed this thing called theatre of the real, which is where we're like using these methods of creating realness within theatre, and like one of the common tropes is like stuff going wrong, like the play that goes wrong, and stuff that's happening that you're like, oh, only that could have happened in the moment, corpsing, stumbling lines, mumbling, that sort of thing. And I thought to myself, do you know what, like that's been going on within stand-up for ages, and comedy and stuff like that. It also spoke about how this is a really good way of getting minorities and communities that have been oppressed and need more representation within the arts, as a way of broadening how they are kind of perceived and their way that they can access art. And what it was saying, like they gave examples of like plays where people got just regular people in to do these plays. And again, I've like noticed that, which is like it's quite cool that I'm already kind of noticing this before I'm going into the MA. But again, with comedy, I feel like there is a real emphasis on people who audience participation, people who aren't comedians. And there's like, I feel like there's a certain amount of hostility towards comedy courses, people who've trained to be a comedian. And it was saying about how trained actors is only something that's come in within like the last 200 or 300 years. Before that, it was just just normal people doing it, and then this came up, and again we're kind of shifting back towards that. But again, I feel like comedy's done this before. Um, anyway, and yes, so there is this like hostility I feel, towards comedy courses, not necessarily towards people who've been on them, but towards them as a whole. And it might be that this is a boiled down version of comedy or comedy performers following that theatre of the real, looking for that realism, because if you don't have those, little ticks that are given to you through the polish of a performance course, or someone who's going to make you look slightly more polished but yet inauthentic, that is something that will be often stiffed out by an audience. Like, authenticity is something that comedians really, really want to go for, and some of the most popular comedians are very authentic. Anyway, that was just my Facebook. I've got a friend, and so yeah. Oh, and I wrote this down as well, which is, so this vulnerability within a comedy performer is probably very, very useful, because comedy is an art form where often you are the underdog, where often you're coming into it from a place of vulnerability. So if you can have that vulnerability naturally, maybe that is something that you want to keep. But again, it's all very subjective, isn't it? But that vulnerability is something that a lot of people do want naturally. Anyway, going back to what I was saying, the vlogs are going to be back. I don't know what format they're going to be in yet, but again, I'm probably going to be doing quite a lot of these. I've got lots and lots of footage. Had a few months off because I just needed a bit of time for get my head in a good place. But I've now got a lot of footage that I'm planning on putting out there. I've been recording sketches with Lucas Kirkby, which I'm really excited about, and those are going to be, being released periodically, which is really nice. And I've got like loads and loads more of the me going and visiting stuff, which again is really cool. So hopefully there's going to be like loads and loads of content, and I'm going to be doing it as part of my MA. So I'm going to be at this period where I wanted to be at, where I'm putting in loads and loads of putting in lots and lots of time that I now have, and I can focus towards doing my online stuff. And I do enjoy doing the vlogs, even though I know it's basically me who watches them. Anyway, catch you in a bit.